Would you like to live on the moon? You haven't thought about that? When I first heard the term space migration, I thought maybe we have other problems here on Earth than thinking about space migration. I'm Simone Blaschka. I'm the director of the German Immigration Center in Bremerhaven, Germany. And for 20 years now, we are researching, analyzing, and presenting migration history in our museum, like the history of the Ukraine refugees who came to Germany in the year 2022 when Russia attacked the Ukraine, or the German maid who went in 1924 to New York. She worked as a maid in the famous hotel Waldorf Astoria. She visited night classes after work, and then she became a bookkeeper working in the Waldorf Astoria, and she had the feeling she made it in New York. Two stories of billions of migration stories, and space migration is very different. Space migration is something I think reminds me of all the things, developments in human history that are good and bad, like industrialization. Fewer people are poorer now, but now we have climate change. Or like the internet. You can support a democratic movement, or you can support a radical movement via social media, good and bad at the same time. Hope is something which is good for space migration and thinking about space migration. And you can see a lot of people attach hope to space migration. And hope is what all migrants drives and had driven. You can find different kind of versions of this hope in science fiction, like Captain Picard from Star Trek and his crew. All these energies finding solutions for a better way of living together in the universe. The first science fiction is very old. It's from the 2nd century, and it was written by Lukian, a man who lived in what is today Turkey. And he called his story The True Stories. And of course, nothing is true about these stories. He thought he was sailing with a ship through the Strait of Gibraltar. And a storm is coming, and his ship is carried up to the moon. And on the moon, he meets all these beings fighting against each other, fighting for the colonization of Venus. And here you have a theme you find in every book about the future or in every science fiction. It's the theme of war. And it seems all people thinking about space migration think war will be something we have to live in future with space migration. And there's another science fiction that shows how these wars developed or how they ended. The first German science fiction is from the year 1897. It was written by Kurt Laswitz. Kurt Laswitz's story is called On Two Planets, and it tells a story. 3 men are traveling with a hot air balloon. We are in the year 1897. Of course, they are traveling by hot balloon, and the hot balloon is losing air, so they land at the North Pole. And there they discover a colony from Martians, a secret colony. And at the beginning, there's a friendship between humans and Martian people, but then it ended in war because the Martian people, they need all the resources from the Earth. And so they come to Earth and they live here, and this is the end of the story. Again, it's war. And you think there's nothing else than this idea that it has to end with war. But 2 years before Neil Armstrong set his foot on the moon, there was a treaty ratified, the Outer Space Treaty, in the year 1967. And this treaty declares outer space as common humanity property. And this treaty is ratified by over 100 nations, among them the Germans, the United States, China, Russia, India. And this treaty speaks the language of diplomacy, not of war. And here you get another idea, diplomacy. And as an historian, I see in hindsight this treaty from the year 1967. It was a very early solution for a huge challenge, how to deal with space migration or space flight. And as an historian, I see all these parallels between space migration or the idea of space migration and migration in history. I see all these merchants, all these states heading for what they called New World, what was already inhabited by the indigenous people. They headed for the riches, for the resources, for the land. And hundreds and hundreds of years of wars followed the European colonialism. So this treaty from the year 1967, it shows collaboration. And collaboration is something you find in science all days, every day. And so science could be a good method, example, how we can deal with space migration in the future. There are so many international collaborations at the moment for the research for outer space. And for example, the European Space Agency, they share all their research results they have from their project. So it doesn't matter how much a nation or a country invest in a research project, they all get the same results. So poor and rich countries all profit from this research work. Research is something you also will find in the future, you need in the future when you ever will have space migration, because at the moment there is no space migration. Just over 700 people have ever visited the orbit or the outer space. And at the moment, there are a lot of tests with what is called habitats. So habitats can be used to live on a planet. They have no windows. If you want to leave them, you have to wear a spacesuit. And you need high technology for life support. Just to breathe, you need high technology. So it will be a very different kind of life we will have if we are going to space. But if that's better than the life here on Earth, we still have time to think about. Thank you so much.